everyone, and welcome back to Haunt the Collector with me, Jace. And yeah, today we're going to be talking about Weta's latest reveal, which is the long-awaited 1/6 scale Gil Galad, the last piece of the puzzle, so to speak, for the Final Alliance setup. And a lot of collectors have been hanging on for a long time and very pleased to be adding this piece to their collection. However, it did come with a somewhat sting in its tail with the price reveal yesterday of a significant price hike from Elendil, who was $550, and personally, I as brilliant as that piece is, I felt at the time that was a little overpriced. This one has gone up by a significant $150 to $700. Yeah, and this seems to be a very common trend at the moment with statues across the board, across all the companies. Been doing videos on it recently myself, discussing these hugely significant price hikes, and I'm afraid I'm not buying into all this, oh, it's the edition size. That to me is utter bollocks anyway. I've already discussed that. And also this, well, it's all the escalating costs of thing. I accept that there's escalating costs, but I also accept the fact that there are collectors throughout the globe that want to collect these pieces. We are the target audience for these statue companies. We are their customers, and they must be aware that the financial strains that they are under as these companies, these manufacturing companies, that the collectors out there are also under significant financial strain. And I'm afraid, but to say that the products that they produce are not a necessity. So therefore, that's the first thing that people are going to remove from any financial difficulties that they might having. So the fact that these pieces keep coming out with these huge price hikes on them, it just seems to me that the statue companies don't seem to be doing anything to alleviate or relieve these financial strains that are going on. I suppose realistically they look at it that, well, if you can afford to be spending money on these statues, then you can afford the percentage price hikes that we have to put on these things to cover all our additional costs. And if that's the case, then fair enough, so be it. But as I've said in previous videos, these companies have got to be prepared that you are going to lose customers. You are going to lose customers. It's happening now. I noticed, for anyone that might not be aware, that the Elendil piece itself on Weta's website is still available, despite the fact this was said to be sold out. Now, this has to be either, and it's not just with Weta either, this is with other statue companies. I've noticed pieces have been sold out and then they found a few, or there's some available. Now, this is either people, which I think is probably most likely, not able to finish their payment plans off, or just simply not able to make the final payments. So that's why they have to wait. They have to give them time, or whatever time it is. I don't know. I don't do payment plans. Or it is simply statue companies doing like a bit of a bluff. Oh yeah, we've sold out, and then sort of make, oh, actually, we found a few in the back. But relevant, whatever it is, regardless of how small edition sizes are, these pieces are not selling out. These pieces are sitting on shelves. They're sitting on shelves with distributors as well. And personally, I am really surprised that we seem to be in a position now, with everything that's going on financially in the world, continuing to see huge percentage rises in pieces that are coming directly after other ones. Now, regardless of that, were you to ask me, do I think this piece is overpriced? Yes, I do. I think it's significantly overpriced. And to me, to my eye, it is no more complex a sculpt. It is no more outstanding a paint job or detailed than what Elendil was. And as it's going to be with Elendil, and with obviously with the Sauron piece to set that final piece up. Oh, I will just interject here. For those of you statue collectors out there who maybe haven't read the Lord of the Rings book, in front of Studio half-scale collectors, I'm joking, I'm not. In the book, Gil Galad, who is the king of the elves, joined Elendil, and they went and fought Sauron. The two of them went and fought him. Now, they were both slain by Sauron, but they inflicted enough wounds and weakened Sauron enough that Isildur was able to remove the ring and thus destroy Sauron. So the film altered it a little bit. I'm always quite surprised why in the film they didn't put him in on that final scene. Because he was there, because he does appear in the film. This is another thing to take into account because this is obviously people going for the completionists, people going for how that end scene should have been for them. And In the film, he is there, albeit if you look on Google Image, there's a lot more sort of photographs of him, of the actor that played him, and also showing the armour and the shield and the spear. But actually, in the film, he appears for the briefest of moments, from what I can see anyway. And so that's it. So actually going for an on-show. So this is a fellowship. This is a fellowship of the Ring, Gil Galad. This isn't to be confused with the Rings of Power, Gil Galad. This is the fellowship. He does appear very, very, very briefly. I think it's about 20%. I might be wrong, correct me on my maths, but it's about 20% more than... It's a 20% price hike on what the price of Elendil was. Don't even get us on Lurtz, because Lurtz has come out after Elendil, but before Gil Galad at 399 or 1/6 scale. Okay, Lurtz is a lot more simpler a sculpt and certainly a paint application, but still, it's a significant price hike. And I'm sorry, but I don't buy into this edition size. When people say, we were chatting about this, again, this was something we were talking about on the Collector's Day live stream. Edition size, think about it. They have all the statue companies. That is never, for me, a reason for a price increase. People saying, like we spoke about with the Gimli, oh, it's that price because it's the editions. Bullshit. They can increase the edition size, and I would accept an increased edition size for a reduced price. They have full control over that. That to me, that doesn't wash with me. Don't ever come to me saying that a price increase is down to edition size, because that is bollocks to my mind. Utter bollocks. The thing people are talking about, obviously, is the manufacturing costs have increased. That much? Really? Again, we discussed this with the Infinity Gimli. Really? Have they gone up that much? Or is it more a case of people are into the line, people want to complete the line, this is a hugely significant piece, and they kind of think that they can add a bit extra because people will pay? Yes, of course I think that. I don't think that this 1/6 scale Gil Galad is more overpriced than what the Argonath environment was. My opinion is, yes, this Gil Galad is overpriced. I do think people have a right to be a little upset by the price on it, but that's the price. And the same with everything. And the same that I've said many times before, you don't have to buy it. You don't have to buy it. Complaining ain't going to get you anywhere. And it's frustrating, of course, it's frustrating. But for me, whenever I've seen pieces, then I know that I want it, and the price comes along, and if it's more than I think, I've just asked myself the question, do you want it enough to pay the price? And if it's here, then you know the answer is yes. And it's as simple as that. It does seem to have ruffled quite a few feathers. There does seem to be quite a few people saying, well, I'm not buying it now because of the price hike. And for me, that's the thing these statue companies have got to be aware of, that they're losing customers. They're losing customers. People are pulling out. The same when I did the Infinity video, people have said, that's it, I'm out. If indeed these price hikes that we're seeing now across the board with pretty much all these statue companies now are genuinely unavoidable, and so be. But I think it is within the power of these statue companies to be doing something for us, to be seen to be doing something for us, the collectors, to cushion these additional financial blows. Free shipping, something. I mean, Darkside Collectibles, to their credit, do offer free shipping throughout the EU. And I personally think that with Weta having an EU warehouse, pieces like this that have had a significant price increase, they should be at least trying to replicate something like that. A lot of these companies, Prime One, for example, why are they not setting themselves up in the EU with a warehouse like Weta have done, again, to cushion the extraordinarily high shipping costs? The same with some of the other companies that are out there in Asia. Put this in perspective as well, guys. I was thinking about this yesterday when I saw the price, and I thought, well, I'm not really invested in this line, so is it right for me to sort of sit here, maybe slating the price of it a little bit? But I thought, well, yeah, I've got an opinion on it. I buy Weta stuff. I've got Weta stuff. So, and also I did a whole video on the immense price tag on the half scale Gimli piece by Infinity Studios, so I'm not going to just pick on Infinity. I think this is overpriced, and I do think this is overpriced. And what brought it home for me was also not just the fact that Elendil's $550, which was significant enough. It was when I was thinking about what I've got on pre-order. And then I remembered I've got a quarter scale statue on pre-order. So it's come out around about the same time as this. So their costs are going to be the same. You know, you can't have one company saying, "Oh, it's costing us way, way more than it's costing them." That I don't buy. Anyway, I've got a quarter scale statue on pre-order. It's just come up for pre-order very, very recently. That is cheaper than this, and that is the Sideshow Eddie Iron Maiden piece, the Trooper. $666, 666. $666, so it is cheaper than a 1/6 scale. And when I thought about that, and I thought, imagine I bought Gil Galad and I had him here on the table, then I had the quarter scale Eddie next to it, and you would say the little one is the more expensive. You wouldn't. No way would you wear that. There's no way. And that for me brought this home. So I was like, wow, yeah. That's my thoughts on this piece. I'd love to hear what you all think. I'm sure there's quite a few of you, regardless of the $700 price tag, are going for this anyway. And like I said earlier in the video, I think it's a spectacular piece, and I don't blame any one of you going for it. Although I'm sure the $700 price tag leaves a slightly bad taste in your mouth, like the Argonath did with me. Okay guys, right, that's it. Let me know in the comments what you think anyway. What do you think to the price? Are you going for this piece or you're not going for the piece? Were you going for this piece, but now because of the price you're not going for it? Anyway, anything at all, shove it in the comments. You know the score, shove it in the comments. Love to hear from you, to hear your points of view on it. If you've enjoyed the video, as always guys, really appreciate it if you'd consider clicking that like button, as I would if you're not a subscriber. Potentially, you know, maybe subscribing, that'd be ace. And yeah, I hope you all have a great weekend ahead. As always guys, really appreciate you taking the time to watch my video, and I will speak to you all on the next one, whenever that is. Next week now. It'll be next week now guys. Right, I'm going to shut up and go because I've got to get my ass in gear. Take care of yourselves. As always, cheers, and I'll see you soon. Ciao.